Hello and welcome to my channel. I talk about the Knight of Swords today. I'm not going to spend too long showing you other cards before I get on to my Kate Bush song choice. I was thinking, before doing this video, I was thinking particularly of the Knights and what a strong archetype that is, and how most of us have, probably from a young age, have a clear idea of what a knight means to us. And I know for me, for example, it's probably also my views of knights is sort of influenced by programs like Game of Thrones or Last Kingdom. That idea of this warrior, someone who is hot-headed, who probably is actually sort of principled, has their own moral code. It might not completely correspond with the king or the society they're serving. So they can be a rebel as well, and certainly someone who is brave, who thinks with their heart, if you like. And that can get them in trouble. That can certainly get them in dangerous situations. And you can see here that in this Rider-Waite card that, you know, he looks like he might fall off that horse. His expression, I mean, he looks very determined, but, you know, it also looks aggressive. I mean, we don't have knights now. I suppose the closest we have to a knight now are soldiers or people in the military. And so it has got that connotations of conflict, of war, and all that difficulty and that heartache associated with the loss. I have my other knight cards don't touch on this topic of war, but I thought it was probably important to have one of the knight cards that did. And also it's something that Kate Bush herself has written quite a few of her songs about. So it is something that is dear to her own heart, I feel. So let's just quickly go straight to the song that I've chosen. I think it's quite an interesting song because I think there's a way of seeing it as representing both the positive and negative sides to the Knight of Swords, and also you know, expanding the view of this card, the interpretation of this card. It is not just about war and soldiers. It is air, which is about how we use language, and it can be about a quest for truth as well. So it can be a very noble quest. So this is, you can see, it was very clearly influenced by the Rider-Waite with this background. The song is Army Dreamers, which is from Never Forever. And in that album, of course, there's breathing as well. So there is that, I think, especially sort of during that time, I thought it's interesting that this is 1980, and it was the same year that Peter Gabriel released Games Without Frontiers, which of course Kate Bush does the backing vocals on. And I will put a link to the Wikipedia entry about the Peter Gabriel song, because it's quite interesting, and it also it talks a little bit about the recording process and when Kate Bush came in and how they're all rushing to adjust her headphones and yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. But anyway, especially at this time in the 80s, they seem to have creatively really influenced each other, Kate Bush and Peter Gabriel. And it's interesting that they both, during 1980, were both singing about war. I feel like Game with Frontiers is about how, as young children, through our games and stuff, that violence gets normalised. And then I feel with Kate Bush song, it's more about how we it's about the mother's viewpoint, and about the child, and how she feels that loss and that sacrifice from her point of view. I liked this lyric of "he couldn't win the war with ego," which is, there's definitely in all the Knight's cards there's quite a lot of ego and gallantry and acting sort of the heroics kind of, and then that, you know, you have those high ideals maybe, and then you realise you're part of a machine, the war machine, that you don't have that power and that control over what happens. And I mean, it's a very sad song, isn't it? Of course it is. And I think I wanted to make the figure here, I hoped she looked a little bit like a toy soldier or something, like, you know, the and so probably influenced again by the Peter Gabriel song about the you know, the toys that we have and the games that we have, and how we get used to the idea of conflict and violence. So on the more positive side of the Knight of Swords, so I suppose you could say the Knight of Swords is the son choosing to be a soldier, having these, maybe making quite a rash decision, wanting to act the hero, and then really sadly losing his life. The Knight of Swords, though, I said could be a more positive thing. So it can be, the Knight of Swords can be someone speaking out. So it could be, you know, someone in a dictatorship who, you know, gets imprisoned for their views. That could be a Knight of Swords. Or on a more day-to-day level, it could be anybody or any situation when we're scared to speak our truth, but we need to. And when we need that courage, I think that is when we can really tap into this Knight of Swords. And I was thinking really how, in a way, Kate Bush writing this song, and also with Peter Gabriel and stuff, how that they were using their platform, I suppose, and also their creativity to make, I want to say political point, but I don't know whether that's the right, or that's the term that Kate Bush herself would use, because I know she says that she's not really political, but to express a truth, say, about, and what she was feeling about war and the loss of life that is involved, and young life, you know, people at the start have so much ahead of them, and that loss. And also she said, and I hadn't realised this till I looked at the Kate Bush Encyclopedia, but there's also the point that the soldier isn't killed in battle. He's killed doing a training exercise, which of course also does happen, and that she wanted to make this clear as well, that the loss, you know, that soldiers are killed even just in the training, even when there's no kind of actual war going on. And it's, you've got that waltz kind of backing it, which is also poignant, I think, because of what we associate a waltz with. And there's almost a romanticism, isn't there? Which is also, I think, there in the Knight. So I felt it was a good song choice for those aspects, but it's a sad song, and maybe this is something that we need to be mindful of with these night cards. So that is my take. Be interested to, if you've got any ideas about other cards, other songs for this card. And yeah, thank you. Thanks as always for watching. Bye bye.